The debit card is one of the most convenient ways to use the money that you have. If you're someone that likes to feel secure and to use the available money that you have, you can use your debit card. It's so easy to use and it takes up so little space in your wallet. You practically don't need to carry cash if you use your debit card. But what if we told you that you're missing out by using your debit card? What if there's actually a better way to spend your money and buy the things that you need? This is Income Intelligentsia, real-life advice for practical and financial goals. What we want to talk about today is how it might be a good idea to use your credit card instead of your debit card. We want to at least address the benefits of using your debit card first so you have a better informed choice when it comes to comparing the two. When you use your debit card, you get your money straight from your bank depending on how much money you actually have. Since you're using your own money, you're not gonna run into trouble when it comes to accruing debt. In a way, you're controlling your spending by having a hard limit on your budget. And since you're using your money, you don't run the disadvantage of having to pay off interest fees. All of that sounds good from the point of view of someone who wants to keep it safe, but that doesn't mean you actually get more for what you pay for. Using money that you already have from a debit card lets you have more control over your own spending, sure, but apart from that, banks have no incentive to reward you for spending your own money. Using your debit card, you don't build credit because you use your own cash, and the problem here is that you need to build your credit score and history. Now here's where credit cards come in. You still get to spend and buy things that you need. If you're someone that knows how to control your spending, you won't have the same problems as someone that gets stuck in debt and gains a lot of interest fees over time. Given you're responsible with your spending, it won't land you in trouble as much. The main benefit that we're trying to do here is to still have the freedom to spend, but also making sure that our credit score and history add up and create a good record for us. What we mean by that is that you don't have to change your lifestyle as much, but you also gain the added benefit of making banks and other lenders trust you with higher credit limits. If you're someone that uses your credit card a lot, you can gain rewards, points, cashback, airline miles, and many other perks. What we want to do here is to ensure that you spend responsibly, but also get something back for essentially just living your life the same way. The way you use your credit is entirely up to you as long as you know you're able to pay it back in full. Moving on from the general information about credit cards and debit cards, we want to talk about security and the differences between the two. Debit cards and credit cards both have security measures that help your funds stay secure. In the event that your card has been compromised, for debit cards, you aren't responsible for the full amount of loss as long as you report it within 60 days. The amount varies depending on the days that have passed. However, once you go past the 60-day limit and you have not reported anything, you are liable for the full amount that you've lost. According to the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, or EFTA, your liability for fraudulent activity is typically capped at $50 as long as you're within the 60 days of when the transactions happened. Compared to credit cards, you also have more trouble disputing fraudulent transactions and could take more time recovering your money. Generally, debit cards have fewer security measures against fraud, and as a result, it's a bit more risky. That said, credit cards have a lot of protections in place for you when it comes to fraud. The Fair Credit Billing Act, or FCBA, states that if you've lost your card or if it was stolen and unauthorized transactions were done, you are not liable for those. Generally, your liability is around $0 for those matters. It's also a lot easier disputing fraudulent credit card transactions compared to debit cards. Normally, investigations involving credit cards happen a lot quicker than those for debit cards. Credit cards typically offer more security because the liability cost for it is almost non-existent compared to debit cards where you can potentially lose all of your money. It's also protected by more complex fraud protection features like tokenization and many more. You're also a lot safer knowing that credit cards aren't directly linked to your bank accounts, so they aren't spending your money as is. That way, your funds have an extra layer of protection. While it goes without saying, you should always keep your financial information secure regardless of the situation. But overall, credit cards offer more features that help your funds remain safe. Now that we've talked about security measures between the two cards, we want to talk about how spending on both cards rewards you. Before we proceed, it's important to understand that you have to be responsible with your spending, regardless of what card you use, and to be able to fully take those lessons to heart. You'll need to assess whether or not you have trouble limiting your spending habits. Now, if you're someone that knows your limits when spending, you gain more from using your credit card than your debit card. Let me explain. Over the course of using your credit card, you build your credit history, and if you're a responsible user and you pay your credit bills on time, you increase your credit score. As a result, more opportunities open up to you as you go about your normal spending habits. You have more financial opportunities due to your credit score going up, as opposed to your debit card not giving you any rewards as you use it. With credit cards, you can have perks just for using them. You could use certain perks like free vacations, lower interest rates on mortgages, better rates on car loans, and a lot more. And you get all of those just for using your credit card instead of your debit card. The reason why this is the case is because credit card companies make money off of interest. Now, there's usually a grace period where you can pay off your balance without incurring interest, and as long as you're able to do so, you'll be rewarded without having to change your spending habits. It's like the bear analogy where you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to run faster than the slowest person out there. Credit card companies often make their money off of interest rates from irresponsible credit card holders, all while you're rewarded for being financially responsible and making the switch to credit instead of debit. That being said, there are still merits to debit cards for newer users that help them manage their money for them. Running out of money and being charged overdraft fees for that is hard, but it ultimately limits their spending to what they have. And while all that we've said about credit cards are all beneficial, it's always important to note that you have to be more responsible with your spending, or else credit card companies will make their money off you. We hope that we've helped you out on figuring out the advantages and disadvantages of a credit or debit card. It's ultimately up to a person if they're disciplined enough, but with enough time and patience. More often than not, credit card users are a lot more rewarded than debit card users. If you've enjoyed this video and found this helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. We'd like to be able to grow alongside you, and we're pumped to have you on our next video. Stay mentally healthy, and let's get financially fit together.